So one day, one of my colleagues came to my office with a gift. It was wonderfully wrapped in a beautiful piece of paper. And inside it was wrapped again with a little note saying, "Exciting, right?" And in there, I finally found, well, it's kind of shaky, but my name in chocolate letters. So I go, "Wow, I love it. That's so kind of you. What did I do to deserve this?" Well, Mathilde, has been 8 months now that you're in the company, and I know that you're feeling like shit. So here is a chocolate letter for every month of your intense struggle. Well, thank you. So kind. Didn't really know how to take this anymore. And the saddest part is that this isn't just a bullshit introduction that I made up to be catchy. This is actually a true story. And what this chocolate bar really did, despite lowering the age I'll suffer from diabetes or any other kind of sugar overload-related disorder, is that it made me deeply reflect on how did I even get here to this point of low self-esteem, feeling of being inadequate, giving 600% of myself for reasons I even ignore, and feeling fooled and deluded about everything that had been taught to me so far. So let's rebound to my childhood to understand the source of this entire situation. My parents grew up with a much more positive and smoother life experience than the one of my grandparents. So they raised me with a sense of optimism and infinite possibilities, telling me that I was special and that I could do whatever I wanted to do, never actually warning me that at least at some point I would need to put in the effort. I also grew up in a world of instant gratification. This is what I do if I want to eat sushi, learn Dutch, buy socks, talk to my Mexican friend, check how much money I have left on my bank account, or even if I want to date for tonight. It's a world of constant access. I do not even know what this strange word even means. Patience. That sounds so old-fashioned. And even at school, I've been told that I just need to work for my exams, have good grades that will get me to a good job and a great career. Easy. This also I can do. So my outrageous ambition with being a little bit mistaken about my own self-worth leaves me with completely unrealistic wishes about my future career. I'm not dreaming about a secure career like our parents did. I'm dreaming about international mobility, free coffee and hot chocolate, bean bags, fruit baskets, the possibility to create my own hours. I want to learn new skills all the time, be given responsibilities, feel autonomous, no micromanagement, all this. And I actually realized that this might be not completely possible, but I don't know this yet. Anyways, so I study and I get ready for the workplace with high expectations, high self-esteem, and the very deep certainty that everything would be given to me in a second as it had always been. And then I face reality. I step in a corporate world that I wasn't prepared for, in an environment that cares more about numbers than about the long life fulfillment of its people. I realize that I'm not special anymore, that I'm just one among others, and that actually a great career takes time, patience, effort, and long years of sweat and tears to build. Great. How do I get there? I finally feel with my low self-esteem, without feeling of being inadequate, And I realized that I studied all these years to bring to the workplace a toolbox that is actually full of the wrong tools. Because our school system has been designed during the Industrial Revolution. So it does a wonderful job creating people for the jobs of the 20th century. There's just one big problem. We do not need those kind of people anymore. Also, my generation, let's say our generation, doesn't learn the way our parents did. We use technological tools as an extension of our brain. We find empowerment, discovering things on our own. What we want from a teacher is actually just to know, what do you want us to know, and when do you want us to know it? We will share, explore, and investigate far more thoroughly than any teacher would require us to do so. Just kick us out of the classroom with a problem to solve, and we will come back saying, we tried, and we epically failed. And just help us understand why. We're not coming to university anymore to get a degree. We want to add value to it. We do not want to walk out of the classroom knowing facts from someone who doesn't know better than Google. So, I think now we need school systems that value problem solving and autonomy as much as it values the ability to absorb and regurgitate information. Fortunately, I do not want you to walk out of this place feeling that you're going to fail your career no matter what you do, because our school system hasn't evolved fast enough. It's going to be all right. But I rather want you to leave with some insights on how you, the generation of self-learner, can teach yourself some of the skills that you only learn the very existence of when you too badly need them. So I made a list of 5 that, for me, are quite important and that you should really think of. The first one is self-awareness. Someone who's self-aware is very able to understand his own strengths and weaknesses, his personal feelings and emotions, his limitations. Someone who's self-aware is also better able to handle and to learn from constructive criticism. Someone who's self-aware is also better able to take very important decisions because he can base his understanding of the situation on his gut. Such big life-changing choices, such as which job to pursue or which partner you want to build a life with. So, how can you teach yourself this? You have to train yourself on figuring out how you feel throughout the day. What I did is that I put a little alarm clock at 4 different times during the day. And when it rings, I pause. And I try to understand how I feel at that very specific moment. And sometimes I put the finger on doubts, on frustrations, on disappointments that I hadn't even noticed. So I can start figuring out, where does this come from? And I can start acting on it. Good thing. Second skill, how to fail. At school, we have been trained for success. Failure, it's bad, it's wrong, it's a shame, you're an idiot, you won't pass. But we've never been taught that actually failure is an opportunity for learning and for growth. So how can you teach yourself this? Well, the best way is to actually force yourself to picture the bigger picture, the bigger objective, so that every failure that comes on the way makes you actually stronger for when you reach it. And every time you fail, ask yourself these questions. What can I learn from this? What's the lesson here? And remember that the people who've reached the most success are the one who knows how to fail with grace and bounce back ready for the next challenge. Third skill is how to network. We have been told that networking is the ability to form connections with people in order to use them in the future. Well, great, that's not it all. Networking is also about making connections with people that can challenge you and that can inspire you and that can also push you to the next level. And it's a mutually beneficial relationship. So whenever possible, you should give first, because you'll realize that you will get back far more than what you would have expected from the beginning. How can you teach yourself this? Well, you can go to events that are related or not to your personal interest or your professional field and meet people. People that are passionate, that are inspiring, and don't be afraid to ask for ideas, for inputs, for questions. They'll be happy to help. And remember that being a connector is as important as forging connections for yourself. Fourth, time management. We only know from school that it starts at 8, it finishes at 5. Every 55 minutes, there is a bell that says that you need to move from one room to the other, going from the Battle of Napoleon to the mitochondria is the power of the cell. But what about the 65% other of your time? We don't know how to manage this. And trust me, if you end up writing your final paper during the 3 days of intense blockus you have set before the deadline, it's because you had a little issue managing the 15 previous weeks. How can you teach yourself this? Well, every Sunday you can sit down for half an hour and set yourself goals for the weeks to come. This week, I want to have done twice to the gym, repaired my bicycle, called my grandmother, bought a gift for my cousin's birthday. Okay, and schedule them so that you have to do them as much as you have to go to your mathematics class. And you don't end up next Sunday with the equivalent of 15 hours required to do your activity and 2 remaining options, skipping or postponing. And then the 5th skill, and the one I know the most about: how to avoid a burnout. We are told that we need to work ourselves to the bone. Don't fall into this trap. Being able to take a step back and to rest is as important than to know when you have to push yourself and to work hard. How do you teach yourself this? Well, the best way to relieve some pressure is actually to take 10 minutes of meditation a day, because it's the best way to cut yourself from the information overload that we get. Also, sometimes, switch your phone off or just leave it behind. The world won't end, I promise. So to end, what I want you to take away from this is that our world is full of opportunity for ambitious people. We will be always facing situations that we've never been confronted to. The real skill is now to adapt, because the one who can adapt can evolve along with the changes. So, the way might be unclear, but just dive in somewhere and teach yourself on the way. Thank you.